Would you consider yourself a high-level entrepreneur? Now, most likely, if you're listening to this, you definitely are. And what I've heard over and over and over again is it's hard to find like-minded people that are like that too. Again, I'm from Maine, so I totally understand how difficult it can be. Thank goodness I have an amazing online community, so I know tons of them. And that is exactly why we are starting this brand new mastermind group with high-level, like-minded entrepreneurs, the ones that you can go alongside with that will help move you to the next level, let alone with kick butt coaching from me, because I like to slap you around, both on focus and on strategy. So if you're looking to double or triple this year, which I know most of you are, I want you to go ahead and apply and see if it's a good fit for you. I will totally tell you if it's not and if I wouldn't do it if I were you. But go to eventualmillionaire.com/apply. We are looking for amazing, like-minded entrepreneurs. My previous mastermind members have told me it is life changing. So take the time today, fill out the very quick application, and we'll see if it's a fit. Take care.
Potent advice and inspiration from real self-made millionaires. Welcome to the Eventual Millionaire with your host, Jamie Masters.
Welcome to Eventual Millionaire. I am Jamie Masters, and we have my dear, dear friend Hal Elrod back on the show. He wrote the infamous book called The Miracle Morning that has sold millions of copies. Plus, he's coming out with a brand new book. You can go check it out at themiracleequation.com, and there's all sorts of bonuses and craziness that comes along with it. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Jamie, thank you for having me. And I love you. So we went down to dinner a couple of weeks ago. I just love hanging out with you. So I'm like, this is just me hanging out and hopefully giving a bunch of value for people watching us hang out with you.
Yay. And when I say dear friend, we actually hang out. He's actually a dear friend, not a fake one, online friend. No, we live really close. Tell me more about the Miracle Equation, because I heard about the Miracle Morning. You tried to get me to do it. I did it. I liked it. It was annoying at first. But the Miracle Equation is sort of a separate subsection. Actually, I want to read what the thing is. 2 decisions to move your biggest goals from possible to probable to inevitable. So good. So what are the 2 decisions? I really want to know what they are.
So, I'll preface it with this. So the Miracle Morning is a daily practice for personal development. And it's based on a Jim Rohn philosophy, which is that our level of success will always kind of parallel our level of personal development, right? If you want level 10 success, you've got to develop yourself into a level 10 person in terms of your mindset, your beliefs, your skills, your habits, your knowledge, right? And as you grow yourself, your ability to create extraordinary results, right, parallels right along with you. So that was the foundation. And the Miracle Morning has, as you mentioned, it's over 1 million people a day practice it around the world. Well, I kind of realized that we've all been, or not all, but many of us, myself included, are guilty of what I call being a personal development junkie. And I'm going to say something that will offend some people. In fact, I've had some people that are Miracle Morning fans get defensive and angry when I say this. But personal development deludes us into thinking that we're making progress when that's not always the case.
What?
And the reason is this, right? You can be the most personally developed person on the planet, and you can read books and go to How to Change Your Life lectures and do online courses, right? And on and on and on. But all that knowledge, it tricks us into thinking, oh yeah, I'm getting smarter, I'm getting better, but that doesn't mean that you're going to actually translate that knowledge into action that's going to move you closer to your goals and dreams. And I think so many of us get guilty of thinking, we read book after book after book, but when we're done reading a book, we don't actually do anything with what's in it except for be like, oh, this is great. This is going to change my life. But wait, I got another book on my shelf. I got to start this one. All we do after we finish a book is read another book.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, here's the way to frame it is the Miracle Morning is your daily practice for personal development. The Miracle Equation is the process for goal achievement. That's how you go from I'm getting better in here and here and here and here and here to I want to see the bank account balance actually grow. Oh, that's the Miracle Equation. Okay. I want to see my weight actually get thinner. I want to see results, not just learn a bunch of shit and not do anything with it. And so that's where I saw the need to move it to, from just personal development to you've got to have a process for actually making the things you're focusing on in the morning real, tangible results in your life. So that's the premise. And then I can jump into the 2 decisions if you want.
Oh, no, I just so appreciate you saying this because knowledge and wisdom, you all have heard that sort of quote, 2 different things. Seeing the results is what people are doing. And we're spending so much time not actually on the implementation side of anything, but we're really smart And that's what we think works, unfortunately, in this day and age of too much information, right? So tell me how you can actually make it tangible for people. What are those 2 decisions?
So the 2 decisions they are deceptively simple in explanation, but really rare in execution, right? So like when I say, if I were to tell you the 2 decisions and then we were to be like, great, see you later, you would be like, I got no value. I don't know what to do. That does nothing for me.
That was cliche. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the first decision is you have to develop unwavering faith. The second decision is you have to maintain extraordinary effort. And you have to make these 2 decisions over and over and over and over again over an extended period of time. And that is where you literally take the most grand vision you have for your life, your business, your goals, your dreams, and you move them along the spectrum day by day by day from possible, which anything's possible. Who cares what's possible? We don't pursue what's possible. We pursue what's probable. Like we need a likelihood. I'm not going to just, how often do we pursue a goal that you're like, probably no chance that'll happen, but I'm going to go for it. But the world's most successful people, they actually do that. They actually go, you know what? Elon Musk is like, well, electric cars, that's like not a real thing, but I'm going to step out on faith that I believe that it could be a real thing. I'm going to maintain that faith and keep moving in the direction of it being a real thing. I'll put forth extraordinary effort, which we're going to make it ordinary here in a second, because the more ordinary it feels, the better, right? And then you put forth extraordinary effort, and then there's an operative word here, until. Circle until, underline it 3 times, right? And it's like that. Most of us give up. You know, we're like, oh, I'm going to do it, and then we try, and then it doesn't go as planned, and then we're like, never mind. I'm going to go back to the way things were, because if I show up to my job every day and get a check, I know it'll pay the bills, and that's enough for me because I'm scared of more. So extraordinary effort. I'll pause and give me thoughts.
Well, no, I absolutely adore this. I found in all the millionaire interviews that I've done, it's the commitment to the result that matters more than the how of anything. And so what you're saying is until, like, you just keep doing doing the 2 decisions until you reach it, because you definitely will. Like that's where the probable to
inevitable. Inevitable. Like here's an example. Let's say you want to be a millionaire. Any sound familiar? Does that resonate here? Let's say you want to be a millionaire. And I forgot who I was talking to today, but we were talking about this. And I said, I was in Brazil doing a media thing, and I have a new mural. Anyway, so she was asking me some question about this. I said, listen to how simple this is. And that's the thing about success, right? What do they say? It's simple, but not easy. It's simple, but not easy. So I said, let's say you want to be a millionaire. I go, let me give you 2 steps that will guarantee you will eventually become a millionaire, right? I was plugging your podcast all over this. I said, step 1, learn from people that have become wealthy, that are teaching you, whether in their book or whatever, how to do it, right? Not by staring at a vision board, but like tactically how to do it. And that was something so important for me in this book, because I'm like, this will not be woo-woo at all. Like the title's kind of woo-woo, the subtitle's a little woo-woo, right? And so, but it's like, how do we make this so practical, tangible, and actionable that people don't walk away feeling good and being like, I'm going to make a vision board, but I'm going to do this, then this, like it's step by step. So anyway, but step 1 is learn from people that have generated wealth, right? They've created wealth. And step 2 is schedule an hour a day to do one thing, to do the things you're learning in the book, and each day do one thing to move in the direction, and then don't stop. That's it. That's it. And guess what? You eventually become a millionaire. You can't fail. You might want to do it in a year, and it takes you 4, or it takes you 10. But when you finally get to the place that you've been working so hard for so long, you never wish it would have happened any sooner. You're like, it was supposed to take 10 years. That journey I had to go through all that. I had to go through that bankruptcy. I had to go, right? You see the perfection in the journey.
And it's so hard to see when you're in it versus later when you look back.
It is.
Right.
It is. And that's part of what I talk about in the book with unwavering faith is I go, look, I said, it's like, if you take the world's greatest athletes, like for me, who growing up, did you have like a favorite athlete? Like, anybody?
I watched wrestling and UFC. Anyway.
Nice. All right, so Michael Jordan.
Yes.
When I was a kid, and I think for like everyone of my generation, every young man, like Michael Jordan was the epitome of the champion, right? Most famous athlete in the world. So Michael Jordan, I believe, and if you study the world's most successful people in any walk of life, right? CEOs, millionaires, athletes, whatever, and we're using an athlete as an example with Jordan, you find that these are the 2 fundamental decisions that are responsible for their success. So with that first decision, unwavering faith, you take a Michael Jordan. He made a decision, and it may have been an unconscious decision at some point in his life, in his basketball career, that he would make every shot that he ever took Now, let me ask you, Jamie, does any player ever, no one's ever made any shot, right? No, the best players in the world make about 50%. That means you miss just as many as you make, right? But here's the deal. Even though the possibility of making every shot that Michael Jordan took was not real, it wasn't possible, it was impossible, it didn't change that he had unwavering faith every time the ball hit his hands that he was going to make the shot that he took. And if he missed that shot, most people, and that's why these decisions are so counter to our human nature. When you miss a shot, and when I say miss a shot, like that's a metaphor for miss any expectation that you're working toward. When you miss a shot, then you start to doubt and you go, oh, maybe I'm not as capable as I thought I was. Now, if you miss 2 shots in a row, you go, uh-oh, right? And like the average basketball player goes, oh man, it's an off night. Yeah, and they won't shoot anymore. They'll just pass the ball. But the LeBron Jameses, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, they could miss 17 shots, 25 shots for the first 3 quarters. Their faith is unwavering, and they want the ball every single time because their mental conversation, which is what I teach you to have in the book, is give me the ball. I will make this shot. I will reach this goal. Wait a bit, you just missed the last shot. You just failed at the last goal. Yeah, but I have unwavering faith that I will make the next one. And here's what this does. It moves your biggest goals from possible to probable to inevitable, because just like Jordan couldn't make every shot he took, you can't make every goal you set. You're not going to. But when you apply the miracle equation, when you approach every goal with unwavering faith and you commit to putting forth extraordinary effort, you now put yourself in a position to achieve greater things than you ever imagined possible.
I love this. And I love this even more because your unwavering faith, since I've known you, is incredible, unlike any other. I mean, you've had cancer, you've had so many things that came up in your life that when I see you, you have unwavering faith. How the heck do we do this? Teach me, please, your wisdom.
So when I came up with the miracle equation, the irony in this, like our friend Jordan Harbinger, we were talking today, and he was like, so you're really, Jordan's like, doesn't pull any punches. He's like, you're really milking this miracle thing, right? This miracle brand. And I go, what's funny, Jordan? I knew from the outside looking in, they'd go, oh yeah, Miracle Morning was successful, so now you did miracle equation. Like, cool, right?
Like that doesn't work. 4-hour work week, 4-hour body. Sorry, just go ahead. That totally works. You should totally do that.
but here's the irony. Mm-hmm. The miracle equation existed 6 years before the Miracle Morning was even an idea. It wasn't a book idea. It was something that I created to try to break a sales record. And to put it in context, this means that it was a 14-day sales contest, and I was trying to do something that no one in the 50-year history of our company had ever done, right? So that's pretty scary. Like, not only had I never done it, no human being on the planet had ever done it, right? So you had to step out on faith, right? There was no evidence, only faith. So essentially, it felt like, I was like, this would be a miracle. Like, if I pulled this off, it would be a miracle. And so I ended up, I go into the sales manager's office the day before. I'm like, and I had been spent 3 weeks going, okay, I'm going to sell $20,000 of kitchen knives, right? I'm 20 years old, $20,000 in 14 days. Oh, it's going to be so hard, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then our manager drops this bomb and he goes, hey, everybody, I don't know if you know, but the conference got moved back 4 days. We only have 10 days for the sales contest. And like, I raised my hand. I'm like, no. But tell me, like, this doesn't count for the record I'm trying to break, right? Like, I'm getting a pass because this isn't a full 14 days. He's like, Hal, unfortunately, it still counts. I'm like, So I go home that night and I'm wrestling with, what do I do? Do I stick to the goal? Like, it was almost impossible at 14 days. At 10, it's like, it's not even, there's no way. $2,000 a day, like in that industry at that time, it wasn't doable. And then I remembered something that one of my mentors taught me. And he said that and I think this is a Jim Rohnism. He said, the real purpose of a goal isn't to hit the goal. It's who you become along the way, right? And specifically who you become by giving it everything you have until the last moment. And the value of who you become extends far beyond whether or not you reach an individual goal, right? And so I went, wait a minute. What if I just went for it? Like, I actually tried to pull this miracle off in 10 days. And I knew that if I didn't hit it, it's okay but as long as I like legitimately gave it everything I had, like, what would that do for me and who I became? And so I went for it. And I asked myself, what would I have? What decisions do I have to make today, like the night before I started, to do this? And I thought, okay, well, what are the problems that could derail me? And for everybody listening, these are the problems that derail you from your goals and dreams. I don't care who you are. Number one is fear and self-doubt. I thought, I guarantee I've been in sales long enough to go, I'm sure I'm going to have bad days. I'm going to have, I'm sure maybe I get halfway through the 10 days and I'm nowhere near on track. And then I'm going, God, there's no way I'm going to do it. So I thought I've got to override my fear and self-doubt with faith. I have to do that by telling, and here's the thing, Jamie, this isn't rocket science, right? What we focus on expands, what we focus on becomes our reality. So if you have a fear or a self-doubt because you miss a shot, whether literally or figuratively, then the self-doubt creeps in, and then you start to question yourself, and then you question your goal, and you question your ability, and you question your commitment, and you're consumed by fear and self-doubt. Now, does that move you closer to where you want to go?
Yeah.
And most people live that way, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how they live.
Yeah.
And so I thought I've got to override that with faith. And here's how I did it. It was very practical. I wrote on a note in my pocket that I kept the entire time. I am committed to giving it everything I have to sell $20,000 in 10 days, no matter what, there's no other option. That's it. It's not rocket science. And that became an affirmation, a mantra, where whenever I had a no sell and I'm like, oh God, I would pull it out and I'd go, and I would literally scream it. Like I'd roll down the windows. I would scream it out of my car. I would be like, I am committed to give it everything I have until the last moment, regardless of the results, no matter what, there's no other option. I said that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And if you're watching this, how often how often every day are you reciting thoughts and words and directing your focus on a level of unwavering commitment to achieve the result that's the most meaningful in your life? I would bet for most people, it's not at all. If you started doing that, how might that shift what you think about, how you feel, what you focus on, and then what you do as a result? So that's how you maintain unwavering faith. Extraordinary effort. I said I would make this ordinary. This isn't Gary Vaynerchucking it 80-hour a day, work days.
Yeah. Thank you.
No,
I gotta go pick up the kids after this. I gotta do what I gotta do.
This is what makes extraordinary effort extraordinary.
Okay.
If I had to sum it up in one word, it's consistency. That's it. It's not 80 hours a day. It's 1 hour a day. It's 1 hour a day doing something meaningful that will move you in the direction of your biggest goals and dreams so that you can't not get there. It just is a matter of time now, right? Yeah. And that's the thing. Most people, we chase squirrels, we get distracted, we get demotivated, we lose the steam that was initially there when we were excited. And so the effort, either whether our faith goes out the window first or the effort, one of them goes, and when one goes, the other one goes, right? When one goes, the other one goes. So these are the two decisions that you don't make them once and then sit back and wait, right? You don't set it and forget it. You make them every day, consciously, actively, and you live in alignment with them, and you can't fail. And that's what the book is like. How do you, breaking this down and making it actionable?
So you embody this anyway, just as a side note. So how does somebody that's a layman go through and go, okay, now I want those two things and I want to remember to do it every day, right? So you've had consistency of doing it over and over and over again. How do I get myself to do it?
Sure. So like in the book ends, same as the Miracle Morning, it ends with a 30-day challenge. Right.
What a surprise.
It's kind of, yeah. And the reason is because, like I said, usually we get to the end of the book and we're like, great, next book, and this book's like, hey, whoa. You're not allowed to not do this. You have to actually implement what you just learned. Right.
That's awesome.
And so after 30 days, and there's a lot of science on it takes 60 days or 30 days or 21 days to make it habit. Well, whatever, you do something for 30 days. Now it's a part of your world, right? Part of your life. So, a few kind of simple steps. Number one, like the book talks about how, and it's very much in alignment with the book, The One Thing, our friend Jeff Woods, right? Is that we often set mini goals and goals are fun and cute. You set them, you don't hit them, you set new ones next year, you call them New Year's resolution, whatever, right? And so the idea of you set all your goals, right? Okay, I've got 8 goals, I've got 10 goals, I've got goals in each area, whatever. And then you get really clear on which of these is my mission. And language is really important because the language that we use affects our emotional response to the words that we say, right? And goals are cute and fun, but missions carry a different weight. Like humanitarian organizations carry out missions, right? The military carries out life or death missions. It's not a goal that we go into the country and don't die. Like, hope we hit that goal. If we don't, though, we'll set a new one. No, if you don't, you die, right? So, but our mission. So the idea is number one is you identify your mission. What is the goal? So set all your goals and then go, which of these goals is the most meaningful? And for you, you have to measure that. Like for me, it would be like, which one of these will improve the quality of my life more than any other? And another caveat to that is, but which of these goals would, by pursuing it with this miracle equation, with everything I have, would enable me to become the person that I would need to be to achieve everything else I want in my life? Like, for me, I was told I would never walk again. And then I decided to run a 52-mile ultra marathon. And the funny part is, not because I was a runner. I've never run more than a mile in PE class in high school. But I literally, this is the reason I went, who would I have to become to run 52 miles in one day? Like, I don't know that guy, never met him. I'd love to not only meet him, but I could become him. That'd be freaking crazy. Because if I became that guy, I could do anything. Like, I don't even know. And so that's why, that's an example of a mission where you go, by committing to that, it will force me to grow so much that even if whether I hit the goal or not, that doesn't matter. Who I will be at the end of that journey is, man, I will be a different me, right? So that's the thing, is set your mission and then write the miracle equation down in writing, right? And it's I am committed to maintain unwavering faith that I will give it everything I have to blank, like whatever your mission is, right? And I'll put forth extraordinary effort no matter what, regardless of my results. That's an important caveat. I like to put that in, regardless of my results, because if results aren't going the way you want, like the book talks about, yes, you have to stop, you have to assess, you have to make sure you don't just keep going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, thank you.
Right?
That's good.
But you absolutely, you assess and then you go, okay, you have to keep moving forward. And so, anyway, that's the simple way to execute this. And it goes back to what I said with, if you want to be a millionaire, learn what millionaires do it every day, a little bit, keep doing it until you get there. Now you're an eventual millionaire.
I love how you do break it down so it is simple. It's like a slap in the face to be like, you already know this stuff, just actually do it instead. Because we do have this distrust of ourselves in goal setting, because we're like, oh, I set this thing. Oh, wait, well, and whatever excuses come up from that. Oh, wait, I set this thing. And then that takes the whole point of goals out, at least to me. So I love the idea of mission. How do you pick just one?
So, okay, I'm glad you asked that. It is the first year I did this whole mission idea. Oh, okay. Sorry, a call came in. I should have stopped that. I don't know how to set my phone. All right. So the first time I did this whole idea of mission, I was trying to double my sales so it goes back to it was actually the last year I was with that company, with Cutco. And I was trying to double my sales and I had been one of their top reps for 5 years. So to put it in context, like every year I was always like the top 5 out of 50,000. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I want to double my sales. I want to double the best year I've ever done, since I only have one more year with the company. I want to go out like with a bang. Stop it. Sorry.
That's okay.
I want to go out with a bang. And I thought, what would that look like? And the real, like the ultimate reason for me to do that, for me to double my sales, wasn't the income, the money, the recognition. It went back to, who would I have to become to produce twice as much as the best I've ever done for an entire year? I don't know that guy. I don't, that's crazy. And so, so what I did is I got really clear. That year I had a goal to get in the best shape of my life physically. I wanted to meet my wife. That was kind of a goal. It's hard to control, but I'm going to put that intention out there. I wanted to rock climb 3 days a week. I wanted to write my first book. I wanted to launch my speaking career. And I wanted to start my first ever business coaching business, right? My coaching.
You're not
business.
An overachiever at all, Hal.
No, and it was. It's great. And that was the first year I really became like an overachiever. I was just. But here's the deal. This is what will blow people, or might surprise you. I decided, okay, I want to achieve all these goals, but I can't give equal weight to all of them, or I'll probably achieve none of them. And I thought, which one is my mission? And I went, well, this is the last year that I have to sell Cutco. It's the last year I'm with this company. So I don't get a second chance on this. And if I were to do this, it would double my income. So I would have a lot more cash to start this new business and to promote my new book and all of these things, right? And I think it's the hardest goal, where I have a reference of going, I would literally be producing twice what I'd ever done. So it's like, so I decided that's my mission. And here's how this lines up beautifully. So in the book, I talk about your mission, and then I go, oh, don't forget about all your other goals. The mission, all of a sudden, so you have all the goals, the mission rises up to the top. And in a very logistical, practical way, I was not allowed to spend any time on any of my other goals on any day until I had done the process, which in the book I teach you define your process, until I had executed the process that would move me toward my mission. And then so in the morning, I would make my 20 calls for the day. And once I did that, I earned the right to work on my book for an hour, to start some coaching, work on coaching clients, to go to the gym. That year, I got in the best shape of my life. I was down to 5.7% body fat. I don't know if that's even healthy. And I put on like 20 pounds of muscle. I met the woman of my dreams, who I now have 2 kids with. I wrote my first book and published it, Taking Life Head On. I launched my speaking career and gave my first paid speaking engagement. And I got my first 6 coaching clients before the year was over. And I hit my goal and doubled my sales and doubled my income.
You did double.
And
darn it, you totally did them all. Okay.
Yeah, and but I look back and I go, if I had not have clarified my mission, every day would have been a debate on what should I spend time on now. And at the end of the year, I could almost guarantee I would have failed at every single one.
Wow. I really appreciate this. How, in doubling your sales in that specific instance though, why wouldn't you go, hey, well, let me make 50 calls. Let me spend not however many hours or whatever it is. Why don't I double what that is? And then you wouldn't actually have as much time to do all the rest of this stuff. Like, why not try and go all in for some of those things? How did you know that 20 was enough?
So a great example. And it ended up being 40 for the day. Here's how this worked. So in the book, I talk about the power of the process. Like, every result that we want to achieve in our life is preceded by a process. And the process is what's required to produce the result, but if you define the process accordingly, effectively, it's not just required, but it makes the result inevitable, right? So for example, if you want to lose weight, if that's the result you're after, if you limit your caloric intake and then you increase your cardio exercise every day to burn more calories than you're taking in, unless you have a genetic defect or something, your result is inevitable. You eventually will eventually will lose the weight, right? So you can apply this to anything with the process. So here's what I did. I went, okay, I looked back at my schedule from the year that I had sold $100,000 of Cutco knives, and I was trying to sell 200,000 that year. And I went back because I would tally my calls every day. And so I was able to go back and literally go, how many calls did it take me to sell $100,000? And I went, and it was like 21.2 calls a day or something, right? Like, it was right at 20. And I go, so wait, and this takes the fear. Doubling a result is scary. But when you break it down to the process, I went, wait a minute, I've made 40 calls in a day before. I've never sold $200,000 in a year, but I made 40 calls in a day. So I could commit to the process, knowing that if I do it every day, the law of averages is going to play out. It's almost inevitable that I'll double my income. And I was still scared of the result, but I was not scared of making 40 calls in a day. So I made 20 calls in the morning and then 20 calls in the evening, right? Hitting people that were home during the day and then hitting people that were home in the evening. And that's it. And it's like, and then I sold $205,000. I doubled. I mean, it's really not rocket science. Like, that's what I say in the book. I'm like, miracles aren't this crazy thing. Like, and here's how I define a miracle. All it is any result outside the realm of what you believe is probable for you. Therefore, when you hit it, it feels like a miracle. Like when I doubled my income in sales that year, I literally remember I got my mail, and the week after the year ended, and it was my final commission statement. And you never know if the orders are all going to go through. Sometimes you have they don't go through, credit cards declined, right? And I was like, close. And so I was standing at the foot of my bed, and I opened my commission statement, and it says $205,000. And I remember I literally, you can insert classical music here. I opened my arms with my commission statement in hand, and I just like I was falling on a bed of clouds. I'm just like, oh my God, I did it. And that's the experience I want people to have with this book, is you are capable of so much more. And this unlocks that for you. And I want you to have that experience of standing at the foot of your bed, and whatever your miracle is, right? 6 months from now, a year, whatever, you fall back and you're like, I can't believe I did it. Like, I cannot believe I did it. Freaking crazy. And then you move on to your next miracle.
You gave me goosebumps. I love this. Okay. Everybody make sure they pick up the book. I know we have to start wrapping up, but I want to talk about this next time. After many months after this is a huge international bestseller, then we'll chat again, because I'll have more of your time, because I know you're running from podcast to podcast. Literally, you should listen to him on a bazillion of the best podcasts, because he's going on a amazing tour right now. That's why you're with Jordan. But I'm going to ask you the last question. What is one action listeners can take this week to help move them forward towards their goal of $1 million?
Yes, I'm actually going to revisit an action that I gave earlier, right? Repetition is key. So here's the deal. Number one is define your mission. So look at all of your goals. And if you don't have your goal set the goal, right? Go Google an article on how to set goals, right? Like if you're not on that page, most of you probably are, but look at all your goals and revisit them and ask yourself, which of these is the most meaningful, most significant, and maybe most important. By giving it everything I have, it would enable me to become a version of myself that I've never met, but that could accomplish anything that version ever put their mind to. And then that is your mission. And then I'm given the second step, which is that miracle equation. Put that in writing and phrase your mission. I am committed to give it everything I have to reach this blank, whatever your mission is, right? No matter what, there is no other option. And read that every day and then live in alignment with it. And now your success becomes inevitable. If you have a mission and you're doing something every day that moves you in the direction of that mission, it's inevitable. You will eventually get there.
Everybody go to themiracleequation.com so you can pick it up with all the bonuses. And one thing that I feel like you do really, really well is build a community around this. So are you going to have a Miracle Equation community also that I can join and be part of the challenge?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that. We have 200,000 people in the Miracle Morning Facebook group, and 600,000 in the email community. And so I'm like, I don't think that I should divert. I think
don't start a new one. Yeah, but
it's going to be the Miracle Morning community. Yeah, community. And the beauty of it is everybody. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, everybody. I've never, when Miracle Morning came out, I was not an author. I was unknown. So it's so wild to launch this book and have like hundreds of people because we have 300 people on the advanced reader team that are all Miracle Morning fans, and there's just hundreds of selfies online, and people are like, this book's as good as the Miracle Morning, it's just different, and yada yada yada. And so so I'm not sure what the community is. It's the Miracle Morning community. We might just rename it the Miracle Community. And I'm not sure. We'll figure that out.
So that's what I wanted to highlight. I want everybody to go check that out because the amount of community that you have, so you're not alone to do this. Because I know we're the weirdos listening to podcasts by ourselves and our families might not know what we're doing and we're kind of crazy. And your community is just so fantastic of people really helping each other and putting each other up and helping boost the neededness of personal development in wisdom and actually doing it. So I so appreciate it. Everybody should go check out the Miracle Morning community, whatever you call it. I don't actually care. But as long as everybody's in it and working together on the goals and doing this challenge. Thank you so much, Hal, for coming on again, as always.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that interview. And if you want to check out more amazing resources, I'm only curating the best of the best. Go check out eventualmillionaire.com. You can take the Eventual Millionaire quiz, figure out where you are in business and what you need right now. Plus, you can look at curated resources specifically for you on the new Start Here page. I'm so excited. Please join us. Please let me know if you need anything at all. I'm here for you. And have a fantastic day. Bye.